the story of a man named Louis Bloom who gets into the industry of night crawling, which is an industry where you go around and you film crime scenes, maybe it's just an accident, and you sell this footage to news stations so that they can broadcast it on the morning news. And eventually, Louis Bloom, the main character, gets really good at it. Then eventually, he gets really good at it. And then he is committing crimes. What's going on, guys? This is the first movie review on my channel. I'm super pumped about it. Super pumped to have a channel. It's something I've wanted forever. Without further ado, let's get into the movie review. See, I got the rhymes. I know, I'm sorry. Can you get off the screen? Thank you. Alright, let's talk about some of the behind the camera work. This movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal, who for the longest time has been my favorite actor, as well as an extremely underrated actor. I'm still mad that the Oscars snubbed him from Zodiac and from this movie. They didn't nominate his performance in this movie, which is ridiculous, but everyone was mad at the Academy about that, guys. Also, this movie was directed by Dan Gilroy, who also directed Kong Skull Island, which I enjoyed. Characters sucked, though. But Kong Skull Island and Nightcrawler are the only two movies that are fresh on Rotten Tomatoes and have a rating above 6 on IMDb. So, yeah. And one of the reasons I was so excited to see this movie was because it starred Jake Gyllenhaal, and all the weight he lost, by the way, to become this character. I mean, look at that face. Compared to what Jake Gyllenhaal normally looks like, which is this. Yeah, Kong Skull Island, I didn't enjoy that. I enjoyed the movie, but the characters were so... Can you imagine if a studio executive watched Kong Skull Island, and they were like, we filmed it pretty good, but the characters were so wooden, there was no depth, and you didn't get invested in their stories, and there was no character development, and we didn't create an intense and compelling, moving story. Honestly, no studio executive ever is going to do that. But let's jump right into my positives about this movie. My first positive is Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. Now, this is my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal performance. Zodiac is like right under Nightcrawler. It's like right there. It is one of the most aggravating choices I ever had to make, but in the long run, I did choose Nightcrawler because his performance in Zodiac, he was portraying a real person. This was a wholly original character. On the set of Zodiac, Jake Gyllenhaal actually got to spend time with the real guy that he was portraying, so that definitely helped a bit. This is a completely original character that he just mastered the portrayal of. Also, Dan Gilroy's direction here, it's really good. It's not great, it's really good. I'll talk more about that when I get into my negatives. But it is really good direction. This movie is a nail-biting ride, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Also, Renee Russo's performance, I actually didn't know she was in this movie beforehand. Her performance is actually really good in this movie. I don't normally like Renee Russo, but her performance in this movie was great. Alright, next up is the storyline. The storyline of this movie, it's one of my biggest positives. It's such an original story. No other movie has this plot, which is great. Because originality is just something that's really hard to come by in film nowadays. Every plot is recycled or modified from another one. No, this movie is like wholly original. There are movies like Nightcrawler, but there's no movie with the same plot as Nightcrawler. And no part of this movie feels like it borrowed from another one. Alright, my next positive is the setting of Los Angeles. Now, this is a really good setting for a movie like this. It's such a big city. There's so many people. So many crimes can be committed, which gives him more opportunities to get even more obsessed. What am I saying? I love Los Angeles. I mean, I've only been there once in person, but, I mean, I loved every second I was there. And Los Angeles just looks so realistic in this movie. It looks exactly like it does in real life, especially at nighttime. The nightlife in this movie is portrayed perfectly. Unfortunately, now it is time to get into my negatives. Negative number 1, the editing. The editing in this movie is actually really good. However, there's one scene that did stand out to me, and it was supposed to be really creepy and really just like, you know, uncomfortable. But the way it was edited made it kind of comical. It made it kind of funny, and I felt bad for laughing at it just because of the circumstances. Like, if someone had seen me laughing at that, they'd be like, dude, back up. You are a psychopath. But I mean, I couldn't help it. The editing in that scene was just made it funny. This is a movie filled with dark humor, so maybe that was intentional, but like in that scene, it seemed pretty obvious that it wasn't, so it is one of my negatives. Alright, negative number 2 is something that I know happens in real life, but it's still a negative because this movie, I think it made it a little too far-fetched, and that is the footage that the news station is allowed to show. Now, there's this home invasion scene, and Lewis gets there before the cops do. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Completely spoiler-free review here. But Lewis gets there before the cops do, and he goes in the house, and he films the crime scene, and it's extremely graphic. And the people are like, yeah, we can show that on the news as long as we give it a warning that the footage is disturbing, and you blur out the faces of the people and the wounds. And yeah, that part is real, but the news doesn't do that with footage like what he got. Even the people that supported him should have been like, it's kind of suspicious, man. So I didn't really buy that part of the movie, but that scene was still very well made, and it was still very tension-filled, because let's be honest, a movie isn't supposed to be 100% reality. This movie actually is pretty grounded in reality, though, which is why that one part stood out to me, and that's why it's one of my negatives. But overall, I absolutely love Nightcrawler. It is one of my favorite movies, and it is my favorite thriller right now, and I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I did buy it on Blu-ray, as you can see, so obviously I liked it. Guys, look forward to more videos very soon. I am going to try to improve my background a little bit. I actually kind of like standing in front of the TV. It actually, like, gives off some heat. I don't know what that's about. The weight loss! Dude, it's just, ugh. For special reviews, like for movies that have perfect grades, I'll probably be standing by the poster, because if I give a movie a perfect grade, you can guarantee I'm gonna have the poster. I know I didn't give this a perfect grade, 9.5 out of 10, but I'm still gonna get the poster for it, because the poster for this movie is... it's awesome. But yeah, I hope you liked this review. A lot of people haven't seen it. It came out in 2014, and recently it's actually been getting a lot more praise and a lot more recognition. It was on a low budget, and it wasn't really recognized back in 2014, which is kind of a bummer. But it's getting more recognition now, which is great. I love it when low budget movies that are so good start getting recognition from not only a mainstream audience, but also other audiences as well. Comment below and let me know what you thought of Nightcrawler. Also, let me know what your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal movie is, as in his performance. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really means a lot. I really want to let this channel grow, so definitely hit that like button. Definitely hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.